With nearly 30 bottles of bourbons and whiskeys acquired throughout the year 2024, which one is going to come out on top? Well, let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today is going to be the day where we get to find out what bottles of bourbons and whiskeys are going to be entered into the best whiskey for 2024. Now, we're gonna have two different contests, one for best bourbon or whiskey under 110 proof and one for best bourbon or whiskey over 110 proof, because I feel like those parameters are way too variable, from over nearly 130 proof all the way down to under 100 proof. We're gonna have some wide variations, and we all pretty much know that those higher proof whiskeys are going to win. Now, before we even get into my bottles and bourbons and whiskeys that I'm entering into this contest, I want to know what your two favorite whiskeys were from 2024. Your favorite low proof and your favorite high proof down in the comments below. Make sure you guys click that like button, smash the subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I would absolutely love to do that by the end of 2024, but that is only up to you guys. Now, without further ado, let's get into the nitty-gritty of today's video. So, like I said, we're doing two different contests for the best whiskey of the year. We have one for under 110 proof and one for over 110 proof. There are a couple of parameters that I put in place for this contest, and those are as followed. One, I had to have had this whiskey through 2024. I had to either have a sample bottle that I still have some of from a distillery that I wanted to implement into this challenge, and number two, I had to at least own a bottle of this to put it into this contest. Now, some of these are single barrels, but these single barrels were available to the public through either Facebook markets, online retailers, and things along those natures. And well, it's my contest. I can add whatever I want into it, but I still want most of, if not all of these bottles to have been available and possibly purchased by you guys. But without further ado, let's get into the bottles of whiskeys that are entered into best whiskey under 110 proof. Starting with bottle number one, we have the good old Jack Daniel's 10 year. This is coming in at 97 proof. This is the lowest proofed whiskey that we are entering into this contest. This was a good one. This was a pickup way back in the beginning of 2024. This is the batch 3, I believe. Yes, batch 3, 97 proof. Great bottle of whiskey. Let's get into bottle number two. Bottle number two is going to go to one of those single barrels that was a little bit harder to find for a lot of people. This is an Old Forester 100 proof, the Old Forest Cherry Pie. Now, this was a bottle that, if you paid attention to Facebook groups and stuff like that, this was a bottle that made its way across the nation from the East Coast. My buddy Kevin did a fantastic pick here. It's all about the tater sticker on the back of this bottle for sure. This Old Forester 100 proof was selling for $325 on the secondary market. Now, is it worth that much? Absolutely not. Is it a great bottle to enter into this contest? 100%. But let's get into bottle number three. Sticking with Old Forester, we have the Old Forester 1924 10-year-old. This is going to be a fun contest to see how this bottle does against this one. See how it goes, because this bottle right here was $115, $120. So to go up against a 100 proof single barrel, it's going to be fun. Bottle number four. Bottle number four is going to go to Ironclad Old Colonel. This is some of the best interesting whiskey that I had from 2024. I went to a whiskey tasting at a restaurant here in Jersey. Ironclad was the whiskey that we were tasting along with the coursed meal, and I reached out to the master distiller. I needed to have a bottle of this, I said, and he sent it my way along with a couple of other whiskeys. One of the other ones is in the higher proofed offerings, and this is some of the best, like I said, interesting whiskey I have personally ever had, coming in at 100 proof. Let's get into bottle number five. Bottle number five goes to Cedar Ridge Double Barrel, coming in at 105 proof. This is some Iowa bourbon whiskey sent to us from Cedar Ridge themselves. This was sent to us way back in the beginning of 2024. Absolutely loved everything that Cedar Ridge sent my way, but this is the one that I'm entering into this contest. Bottle number six. Bottle number 6 is going to be the Bardstown Origin Company High Wheat Bourbon. This is 106 proof at 50 bucks. Absolutely loved this bottle right here. Well worth it. Well deserving to be in this competition. And you can't go wrong with some Bardstown Origin series. This right here, absolutely delicious. But let's get into bottle number 7. Bottle number 7, another new bottle we got is going to be to the brand new Barrel Bourbon Company Ice Wine Cask Finish Series, coming in at 106.52 proof. One of the most interesting finished whiskeys I've ever had. It's not your typical wine finish. It's got some really interesting notes that I can't wait to see how they compare and compete against some of these other whiskeys on this bar top. But let's get into bottle number 8. Bottle number 8 is going to go to Jack Daniel's 10-year, 107 proof. This is batch number 2. You guys know how much I like this one. This one does seem to beat out the Jack Daniel's 10-year most of the time, but we're going to see just how well it does this time against the Jack 10 when we put it in a straight competition, head-to-head pretty much, and see where it falls. But let's get into our 9th and final bottle, the highest proof bottle in this competition. Let's find out what it is right now. Bottle number 9, the final one, the only rye being entered into this is going to be the Michter's Limited Release 2024 Barrel Strength Rye, coming in at 110 proof. Now this one was interesting. It wasn't my favorite cup of tea throughout the year, but I did thoroughly enjoy it every time I went to it. It wasn't the best rye comparative to other ryes, but I want to see how this does against some of these other heavy hitter bourbons and whiskeys that are on the bar top. Now, make sure you guys leave that comment. Which out of these 9 whiskeys do you think is going to win this competition? I can't wait to see what you guys think. But let's get these off the bar top and let's start getting into some of these high-proofed heavy hitters released from 2024. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with all of those low-proof bottles of bourbons and whiskeys off of the table, we've got 18 bottles of bourbons and whiskeys that are over 110 proof to get into. Starting off with sample bottle number 1 sent to us from Limestone Farms. This right here is their private batch, coming in at 113.6 proof. Absolutely love this thing. This thing was unbelievable, and hoping to possibly get a bottle of this very soon. Bottle number 2 is going to be a rye. This is the Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye, coming in at 115.8 proof. Absolutely delicious rye whiskey from Hard Truth right here. Can't wait to see how well this does against other high proof bottles of whiskeys in this competition. But let's get into bottle number 3. Bottle number 3 is going to go to Barrel Bourbon Batch 36, coming in at 114.44 proof. Really good batch here. Might not have been my absolute favorite release from them ever, but still well worth it in my personal opinion. Really good. Can't wait to see how well that bottle does against some of these other bottles of whiskeys. But let's get into bottle number 4. Bottle number 4 is going to go to the bottle we just did a review on, and this is the Blue Note Honey Bourbon Cask barrel proof release, coming in at 115.7 proof. Really good bottle. You could tell it was a little bit younger, but you could still get some of that really nice nuance from that honey. Gave a really interesting flavor profile. Can't wait to see how that flavor profile matches up against other bottles of whiskeys that aren't finished, and to see how well they do against this one. But let's get into bottle number 5. Bottle number 5 is going to go to Whiskey War Barrel Proof, coming in at 116.10 proof. Now, this right here is a blend of a bunch of different whiskeys. It's not just one whiskey in like a bourbon or a rye. It's a bunch of ryes, bourbons, American whiskeys, all blended together into a beautiful harmony and marriage. This right here, really good bottle that, you know, I can't wait to see, like I keep saying, how this holds up against other whiskeys in this caliber. And, well, we've got a bunch more to get into, so let's get into our next bottle. Our next bottle might be what most people believe to be the bourbon of the year, and that's going to go to Russell's Reserve 15-year, coming in at 117.2 proof. Really good bottle, really delicious. One of the more hard to find bottles from this year, but there were about, I think, 80,000 bottles of this dropped. So This is definitely in the contention of what I believe could possibly be Bourbon of the Year. But there are many, many more bottles, including this one right here. We've got the Green River Full Proof coming in at 117.3 proof. We're at 1.1 proof points higher than Russell's 15. We're a lot younger than Russell's 15, but still a nice proof point, one of my go-to in that range. And we'll see just how well this bottle holds up against that Russell's 15. But let's get into our next bottle. I talked about it earlier in the low proof bottles, but this right here is the high proof offering that I'm putting in the competition from Ironclad. This one is a double oaked coming in at 118 proof, barrel number 409. Really, really good bottle right here. Again, their own distillate. Really, really delicious stuff right here. Love what I've had from Ironclad. Can't wait to see how it does against some of these other bottles. But let's get into our next bottle. We've got the first Elijah Craig release from 2024, the A124, coming in at 119 proof, 10 years old, 9 months. Really not what we were looking forward to with these releases, but was definitely a letdown, but you never know. It could do pretty well in this competition. Let's get into the next bottle. Our next bottle in the competition is the Empire Wheat Crust from River Roots by yours truly, the Everyday Drinker. This is a 10-year-old barrel proof Kentucky whiskey coming in at 120.75 proof. This was a single barrel from a barrel that rhymes with steam, if you know what I mean from that. This bottle went over so well throughout the entire community. It did not sell out in the Patreon. It went public, so it went all the way out to California. It went up to Oregon. It went up to Maine. Went down to Florida. Went over to Texas. This bottle made it all over the country, and I'm very, very happy about that. That, you know, this thing right here, I have not gotten one bad review of. So we've got a bunch more bottles to get into. Let's get into it. It's not a bourbon, it's not a rye, it's a rice whiskey. This is the JT Mellick Single Barrel Cask Strength, coming in at 121.3 proof. This is rice whiskey. It's not bourbon, it's not rye. It's distillate made from rice. Really, really cool stuff that they're doing over there. Can't wait to see how well it does up against a bunch of other bourbons and ryes to see where it falls. But let's get into our next bottle. Our next bottle is going to the first release of the Larceny batches of 2024, the A124, coming in at 124.2 proof. Really, really good. I think that this one was definitely a little bit better than its cousin, the Elijah Craig from the A batches. The B batches, not so much, I personally believe. Did not get the C batches yet. Haven't seen them anywhere in Jersey. But let's get into our next bottle. Our next bottle is the B batch of the Larceny, coming in at 125.4 proof. So we made it a little bit higher in proof for the B batch. I don't know if it was better than the A batch, even though it was a little bit higher proof. Sometimes that doesn't mean jack squat in these competitions. But both of these were solid releases from Larceny, and we'll just see how well it does. But let's get into our next bottle. Our next bottle is going to go to Stag 24A, coming in at 127.6 proof. Really, really good batch. Much different than a lot of other Stag bottles. Really light, really bright, not really deep and dark in those cherry notes. Really interested to see how well this compares against other darker, richer, full-body bourbons. 24B is out on the market right now. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to get a bottle of that to put into this competition. I think it's a little bit higher proof than this one as well. But nonetheless, really good bottle right there. Can't wait to see how it does. Let's get into our next bottle. Our next bottle is going to go to the second release of the Elijah Craig offerings. This is the B524, 11 years, 2 months, coming in at 130.6 proof. So we got a little bit more age. We got a little bit more proof from the A batch. That one right there, well worth it in my personal opinion. You're getting a really nice age, really nice proof point, really nice viscosity. Can't wait to see what that does against other bottles of bourbons and whiskeys up on this bar top. I know a lot of you guys like this batch release, but we'll see how well it does. Let's get into our next bottle. Our next bottle is going to go to the Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, coming in at 131 proof. This is an 11-year-old Coy Hill, not the 2021 release, unfortunately, but still a really, really good bottle. Can't go wrong with high-proof Jack Daniel's single barrels. Delicious, delicious bottle. It could be on the radar for a lot of you guys for Bourbon of the Year, but we'll find out when the time comes. We've got 2 more bottles. One is a sample bottle sent to us, and one is a bottle we picked up. Let's get into those right now. The last sample bottle that was sent to us is none other than the 13th Colony Double Oak. This bad boy's coming in at 133.7 proof. Darn, that thing was good when it came my way, and I was so happy that 13th Colony wanted to send that bottle to me to do a review for you guys to get it hyped up, and it was well worth it. Really good stuff coming out of 13th Colony. Like I keep saying, we'll see how it does against these other bottles, but let's get into our last and final highest proof bottle of whiskey in this competition. We've got the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye whiskey coming in at 135.7 proof. Now, why am I putting a single barrel rye whiskey on the bar in this? Because these are very available in most areas throughout the country, and these do so well for so many people in blinds and things along those natures that I think it deserves a spot in this competition to see how well it does against so many other whiskeys that are adjacent to it, right? These are $65, $70 bottles of whiskey that you get in a barrel proof that are absolutely delicious, that very much deserve its rightful place on this bar to see how well it does. Now, you guys see every single bottle that is being entered into this high proof whiskey competition. Let me know in the comments below what you truly believe is going to win this down below. Make sure you guys drop that like. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. Click that notification bell to let you know and not miss when these competition videos are dropped and released, so that you can find out what I believe to be the best bourbon or whiskey to be released in 2024 in a blind fashion. This is going to be a fun one. I can't wait to dive into these later on in the month and do these blinds. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, this has been Nathan with The Everyday Drinker. Cheers.